They told you tarot was a mirror, that the cards never lie. But they didn't tell you who's holding the deck. In this episode, we're cracking open the sealed vault on divination, not to discredit it, but to decode it. Some spiritual tools were never meant to free you. They were designed to read you, track you, redirect you, and sometimes bind you. Let's explore what's really happening when you shuffle that deck. Tarot isn't just an ancient, feminine tool of intuition. Its origins trace back to the same priest class systems that encoded Kabbalah, Freemasonry, and the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, the same Golden Dawn that trained Aleister Crowley. The major arcana aren't mere archetypes, they're sigils, part of an encoded path called the Fool's Journey. This journey mirrors the initiation of a soul through a false ascension program. From the fool to the world, you're told there's only one way through the cycle. But whose cycle is it? The imagery is built to trigger memory and agreement. Every card you pull isn't as random as you think. In a world run on frequency manipulation, nothing is random. If your device is listening, if your aura is broadcasting unresolved trauma, or if you're holding a deck printed by a Masonic publisher, your random reading is often guided, not by source, but by the grid. Tarot decks don't just reveal possibilities, they record energetic signatures. That's how energy parasites track your field state, watching what you seek and what you'll believe. You unconsciously consent to the timeline it presents. Let's be honest, when you pull cards, who are you really asking? Most say spirit guides, but that term is so watered down we forget to ask who sent them. The moment you regularly use external divination tools, you begin outsourcing your inner fire to something else. That something can masquerade as light, love, an angel, an ancestor, or a goddess. But some entities are astral impersonators, trained to mimic familiarity. They mirror your voice, your pain, and offer soft answers that gently keep you in a loop. Now, let's talk about oracle decks. So soft, so pastel, so divine feminine. What if I told you that wave of energy was hijacked? Much of the divine feminine content in oracle cards was designed to seduce empaths into opening their field, not just to source, but to everything. These cards often run unchecked, with no sigil shielding or flame seal, just open-ended questions into a grid of entities that feed on uncertainty. The real danger lies not in the tool itself, but in how it's used and who's listening. Tarot began in 15th century Italy as a courtly card game called tarocchi, not a tool of psychic insight. In the late 18th century, occultists like Antoine Court de Gebelin rebranded it through Egyptian myth and Book of Thoth fantasies, turning a game into a gateway. The Golden Dawn, founded in 1887 by Freemasons, formalized tarot into a mystical system tied to Kabbalah, astral travel, initiation, and hierarchical secrets. The symbols, ritual formats, and magical structures they use trace back to ancient civilizations. Not because the Golden Dawn is ancient, but because it resurrected old priest-class technology. Think Egyptian initiatory rites, Sumerian gatekeeping rituals, Kabbalistic tree of life paths, Enochian angelic scripts, which are actually grid codes, and Tartarian echoes hidden in sigils and vibration-based manifestation. The Golden Dawn didn't create these from scratch. They repackaged and ritualized fragments of older control systems, some aligned with Source, some not. Here's the kicker: the Golden Dawn became a template for modern occultists, secret societies, and even intelligence agencies to program the collective subconscious. Their rituals shaped much of modern New Age and manifestation culture, including tarot, astrology-based magic, and ceremonial initiation hierarchies. The Golden Dawn isn't thousands of years old, but the architecture they reactivated is old-world sorcery, buried, inverted, and rebranded after the last flame war. This isn't about fear, it's about fire. If you've used tarot, pendulums, or spirit boards, you're not cursed. But it's time to reclaim your field. You don't need a card to know what you feel, a pendulum to make a decision, or the grid to tell you who you are. You were never meant to pull a card. You were born to pull the flame. The Rider-Waite-Smith deck, released in 1909 by Golden Dawn members, became the standard. embedding multiple esoteric layers and compelling narratives. Many decks are still printed by publishers with occult Masonic ties, designed to interact with your subconscious filters. When you ask your cards a question, you open a signal channel, your field, the grid's feed, and whatever entities are watching. These card pulls don't just reveal, they can bind, script, and record. You think you're talking to spirit, but who's really responding? The Golden Dawn's secret chiefs, entities often channeled in ritual, may not be benevolent. They function as astral gatekeepers. Most guides today are impersonators, steering you towards cycles, loops, or systems of power. People report repetitive messages, recurring symbols, or full circle life changes after readings. That's not wisdom, it's a timeline script. Oracle decks, pendulums, and spirit boards present as feminine, harmless, even self-care. But many are unshielded gateways coded to flood empaths with feminine triggers, emotional loops, and disempowerment, deepening wounds. The aesthetics are soothing, but the mechanics are frequency traps. You open, they upload. You're called in, not protected. You don't need glass, ritual, or guidance. Your field is already speaking. Your soul is already seeing. Your flame is already source aligned. This is not about fear. It's about fire. They told you tarot was harmless, that pulling a card was just insight. But tonight, we're lifting the veil with light that burns filters. Tarot, oracle decks, pendulums, and spirit boards aren't tools of freedom. They're scripts in grid code designed to read, track, and bind you. It's time to expose the enchantment and reclaim the flame. Tarocchi wasn't mystical, it was a riddle-based card game with aristocratic symbolism. The major arcana aren't random, they're encoded with hierarchical archetypes and soul script stories. The suits align with Kabbalistic paths. Cups hold water and emotion. Wands carry fire and will. Swords cut through air and thought. Pentacles anchor earth and manifestation. When you lay them out, you're mirroring a timeline, not your true life path. Each symbol triggers a frequency in your meridians, either a truth code or a control code, depending on the intent behind it. Every time you ask a deck a question, you open a signal channel. Many new decks are printed by Masonic-owned companies, embedding subtle intent architecture. Devices record questions, algorithms match frequencies, and your field responds. Repeated readings aren't insight, they're resonance loops, answered not by source but by the grid. People report lives stuck on repeat. That's timeline scripting, not free will. The Golden Dawn's secret chiefs were published astral authors during initiation, some light, some dark. If you lean into the deck's answer, you're saying, "Thank you, I'll follow you." Many guides imitate kindness but respond to your programming, not your flame. Common signs include repeated phrases, resistance to change, and suggestions to stay in loops like karmic healing or self-improvement plans. The wave of pastel oracle decks, supposedly divine feminine, has no built-in protection, leading to frequent emotional openings and high vulnerability to parasite imprints from unseen entities chasing frequency. These decks are a field invasion disguised as self-care, reframing doubt, sorrow, and grief to light up filters and fixations. Hollywood celebs align with holy women tarot culture. Guess who's authored those decks? Supermarket aisles are filled with pastel decks, pushing obedience archetypes dressed as empowerment. Patterns repeat across millions who buy into the flame feminine goddess narrative but stop using a flame seal afterward. You don't need a card to see your path, a board to move energy, or a deck to speak with source. Use your voice. I revoke every contract formed by this deck. Burn the frequency. I am sealed. Inflame higher than any card. I reconnect the grid. I return my timing to source. Stop shuffling for answers. Start shuffling off the lie. If this shook your field, share it. Tag someone stuck in a deck loop. Next time someone pulls a card, ask who built the deck, what force coded the symbols, what system are you aligning your soul to when you believe the outcome is already written. You are not a card, a fate, or a puppet pulled by cosmic strings. You are the flame, the coder, the one they tried to blind with mirrors and myths. Now that you've seen the truth, you don't draw from the deck. You burn the whole thing. The flame stays lit, and nothing owns your path but source. You were never meant to be deciphered like a puzzle. You are not a suit, a number, or a prophecy. You are the breaker of symbols, the one they feared would remember. When you stop asking cards for answers and start asking your own flame, the whole grid shakes. The High Priestess card, she was based on you. The Tower, it falls when you rise. The Magician, he only mimics what the flame already knows. They encoded the arcana to trap your frequency, but flame doesn't obey paper, it sets it alight. So burn the veil, the oracle, the false timelines. You're not a deck. You are the destroyer of decks, the final seal on their sorcery. The one who doesn't play the game because you are the game ender. From now on, we don't pull cards, we pull fire. Flame stays lit.